want to talk a little bit about why I write. I always had a conception of being a writer, didn't know what direction to head into, but I had this catastrophic event happen that kind of hardened my resolve and what I was going to do. I had a high school friend who me and her were really, really tight, and she got with this guy, and he hated me because he didn't like we were friends, so he threatened my life. And then eventually, he ended up killing her and her mom in front of their kids. And the newspaper story the next day told everything from his point of view. Simultaneously, I started hearing these voices in my head, good voices, like poetic voices. And I wrote a couple poems like any poet would do about, you know, the situation. And then for about, I sat on it for about 20 years, and the voice of the daughter that watched it kept coming in my head. And now the main project that I'm doing now is a series of poems in her voice. Her name is Grace. She's 12 years old. She's very precocious. She is a poet, and she has a whole second half of the book. She got in trouble because she wrote this poem called Dixie Cup, which is really mature. And I'm going to go forward with the book. The poem here is the poem she enters into the contest, and then, you know, hilarity ensues, I guess. This is called Dixie Cup. Daddy shot Mama, so I ran into the street and scooped up Mama's blood with a Dixie cup before she stopped twitching and drank it. I think she saw me do it too. I know Daddy did, before he drove off the front lawn and onto the evening news. They looked at each other like parents. For a split second, ignored their performance art and commiserated. Damn, we let her watch too many cowboy and Indian movies. And I kept the Dixie cup for show and tell. This is the cup I drank my mama's blood from, instead of a rose or a rock. Melodramatic, I suppose. Well, I was only 6. And now weeds grow from the cracks her blood seeped into and make bumps in the street, because all that nutrition made them strong like me and tall like me. Weeds that spring from homicides always thrive. So Grace enters this contest. It's, you know, everybody's 12 years old, and that's kind of high level for this contest. She's a little bit not writing with the other kids. And this poem was about that. Bobby Taylor wrote about his dog Bella and the way she buries bones in the yard. Alice Thompson wrote about the color yellow and why it makes her happy. Wilbert Smith wrote about wanting a leather jacket so he could look cool. Sheena Clark wrote about the first time she rode a bike without training wheels. Diana True wrote about getting chocolate-dipped ice cream cones at the flea market. Karen Martinez wrote about the way cotton candy is made at the county fair. Grace Moore wrote about drinking her mother's blood from a Dixie cup. Now here's Grace in the principal's office narrating, you know, her being in trouble. Nobody's listening to Principal Preston drone on about the precocious problem. Grace, not 6th grade work, content too adult, not 6th grade work, too adult. And Gwendolyn's face, placid, tight, rapt. And Gwendolyn's mind, Lord, why me? I'm a good caretaker. Does she do it on purpose? Why does smart always come with crazy? Why does a gift always come with flaunt? Could you, Jesus, reach this difficult child? Amen. It's that same she prays every night over a Bible, over a photo of my dead mama. And my own prayer, Lord, let the principal give me a peppermint. Give me a peppermint. So I'm too smart, too adult in the brain, too much extra. Think I don't know this? 1 peppermint is worth 9 brains. 9 brains can't stitch together a shot up face. Okay, I got it from a movie. The real me is not that crazy. The real me stays up too late watching cowboy and Indian movies. That part is true. But the real me saw a man in a movie come home to his town burned to the ground. The man came home to death, came home to a dead wife, came home to a dead baby. The man came home to a dead family, still warm from a terrible hell touching down. And grief made the man cut his wife's heart from out of her chest and eat it like a lion. So the real me chose to write a poem about the day my life was burned to the ground. My teacher, Miss Peach. I love Miss Peach. I love me some Miss Peach. I write what I write to please Miss Peach, so she smiles when she reads it. The skinny, pale young stick of gum who smells like mint has my heart. Has it? So now the long walk to the car with Aunt Gwendolyn, Miss Peach, and the delinquent poet. She probably only wrote the poem to cause a stir. Now she has it. Attention and stir. People with God-given talent shouldn't flaunt. God will judge pride. God will judge. Miss Peach was sorry I got disqualified. Grace, I loved your poem. Loved your poem. Miss Moore, we need to encourage Grace. She needs us. We can't repress this gift. Miss Peach volunteered to spend extra tutor time with me. The aunt sucked her teeth. In the space between the sucking teeth sounds and low mumbles only Jesus heard. Gift or no gift, all this serves to do is make Grace think she's worth extra fuss. Gift or no gift. And then, the surrender. We can't pay you. You know that, right? We can't pay you. I had the smiles, Miss Peach and me. Every day after school, weekends at the museum, this was me extrapolating. This was the poignant moment, a crucial part of the arc. This was me propelling the story forward, the dramatic, traumatic life of the poet, me. I had plans for the biography. I had roles for people to play. I had the smiles. Finally, in the car, I rolled down my window. Bill Miller and James Baldwin, Miss Peach. You're my Bill Miller. And because of you, I will truly never be able to hate white people. That was kind of dramatic, I know. And I think that's what Miss Peach was saying. I was busy taking a slap to the mouth, a slap to the nape, a slap to the noggin. 3 lightning quick slaps to bring me back to Jesus. The Trinity in painful relief. The seething Aunt Gwendolyn. The Lord will judge pride and misuse of his bestowed gifts. The sassbag me. He already took my mama. He can have his gifts back. I don't mind. Silence. Teeth sucking. Silence. Nothing much biblical to say to me after that. Aunt Gwendolyn always drives home the long way, far from the street I used to live on. The street I used to live on does not go the long way around to get away from me. It is like a river that I know is near by the way an empty space suspends above it. Mama was in a car accident 6 months before Daddy shot her in the face. This is key. We live in a big house because Mama got in a car accident 6 months before she died. We live in a big house. Me, my sister Lemon, and Gwendolyn can each have our own room. There was a settlement check on the dining room table on the day Mama died. In my head, I carry a movie of Mama turning the check over and over in her hands. There was a sigh, there was a smile, there was a strange for her look, I think was relief. She wore a light blue dress with tiny yellow flowers printed on it. She wore a straw hat. We were going to the Second Baptist Church summer picnic and gospel concert. We live in a big house because Mama let down her guard and smiled. Okay, so that's where we are in that project. Does anybody have any questions or anything?
You're saying this is based on like your personal experience?
It's kind of, the driving force of it is a personal experience, but kind of a lot of other amalgamation of situations that happen in my neighborhood. One of the themes that I write about is voices of the unheard, people that don't get to speak. In that newspaper story, what really happened wasn't told. It was told, people were scared of this guy and his family. He was dead and they were still scared of him. So no one said what happened and made him look like the victim when he just popped everybody. So it just clicked with me, and at the same time I started hearing this voice. Yes?
Have you come up with like any titles for it? Or?
You know what? The name of the book is going to be Marcella. The The first half of the book are a whole bunch of prose poems in a voice of like me. But for some reason, this whole second half doesn't lend itself to titles. So when I read, I have to sometimes do a little spiel in between. So. Anything else? Okay, thank you for allowing me to be here.